Hey everybody, you're listening to Second Round Steals as we go through our 2015-2016 NBA team previews. Be sure to check out the rest of our previews, and don't forget to stay tuned with us for regular updates throughout the season.
Hey guys, what's going on? We're back with our NBA previews, and right now we're going to be covering the Dallas Mavericks.
Right, so last year, obviously this team went 50-32. They managed to lose in the first round of the playoffs to the Rockets. And that was the whole meltdown, obviously, with Rondo. And
They're basically quitting on the team.
yeah. So let's look at what they picked up this year. This is a busy off-season, and not in a good way for the Mavericks.
I mean, you can look at it both ways. But for the key additions, they drafted Justin Anderson. They signed the Haitian sensation Samuel Dalembert.
Again.
Former dunk champion Jeremy Evans.
Ooh.
They signed potential highlight maker JaVale McGee. They added Jaja Pachulia. And two of the most intriguing acquisitions by the Mavericks this offseason were Wes Matthews. They signed him to a max deal, or close to a max, and they picked up Darren Williams from the Nets.
Worldwide West. Yeah, and obviously the losses, we noted Rondo went bye-bye. Monta Ellis also left, and you could see that happening once there was issues with Rondo. Tyson Chandler moved out after only a season. They lost Al-Farouq Aminu, they lost Richard Jefferson, and they lost Amari Stoudemire.
Yeah, so basically their entire starting lineup, aside from Chandler Parsons and Dirk Nowitzki, is gone.
Yeah, and so, I mean, let's look into this lineup. Obviously, you have point guard, you got Williams starting, because I don't know who else would.
Yeah.
Shooting guard, since Wes is still out, I know he's practicing again. Pretty sure they're saying that he's aiming for a December comeback, though. So until that time, I think they're going to be starting Devin Harris at the shooting guard. Small forward, Parsons is still out until who knows when. I don't even know what he's necessarily out with at this point.
He had a microfracture surgery on his knee, I believe.
But I'm pretty sure that wouldn't that have healed? I feel like that he had that so long ago.
It takes a while to heal from microfracture surgery.
Maybe I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like even though he had that in the playoffs, right? Yeah, he got injured and had it right in the playoffs. I thought that would have been enough time. I thought he might have gotten re-injured and they just didn't want to say anything, but whatever. We'll say he's still coming back from the surgery. So small forward is going to be Justin Anderson, I think.
Starting the rook?
Yeah.
You don't see any Charlie Villanueva?
No. I don't know. Maybe they'll start Villanueva. That way Darren can feel better about his new baldness.
Yeah, I mean, they might have to start Anderson off slowly. He wasn't exactly a lottery pick. And Villanueva, he kind of fills like the shooting role, which is basically kind of all he does at this stage of his career.
What about Jeremy Evans? He might even get a go.
I think he's more of a energy 4 than a 3.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they don't have a 3. So I went with Justin Anderson just because he lit up Summer League. But I don't know. I'm not sure who they're going to start out there. Power forward, obviously, you have Dirk. Center, that's another one. They have so many not great center candidates that I think they're going to go with Pachulia as their starter.
He wasn't bad last year with the Bucks.
But he's not great
either. Yeah, he's not a quality.
Yeah. So I think they're going to go safe and do Pachulia. I mean, hopefully Parsons returns soon. He could maybe even make a leap this year. That would be cool, but I'm not sure. JaVale McGee, it's kind of, before we go on to the stat, I think JaVale McGee has a chance with this roster. I mean, he has a chance with every roster he's been on, but
he's still injured.
I think he can.
He's kind of a lost cause at this. Like, if they just simplify the game for him, like they did last year with the Mavericks before the Rondo trade, they were just killing it with pick and rolls with Brandon Wright, Dirk Nowitzki, and Tyson Chandler. They're getting easy buckets, and they might be going back to that with like some really athletic guys like McGee, and Jeremy Evans.
I think they just might need McGee simply because you need that shot blocking force that you lose from Tyson Chandler going away.
Right.
I don't know though. So what do you have as the stat that could define this team, Charles?
I have them at As 27%. So players returning from an
Right.
Achilles injury saw their minutes per game drop 27% the season they returned, which is kind of a big deal. Having Wes Matthews basically come back from a really bad injury that a lot of people don't really fully recover from, and him signing a big contract, that could be a major issue this season and for the remainder of that contract.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm hopeful that he'll return
Yeah, I
to
really don't
form.
think he's going to be even as good as Monte Ellis was last year.
I'm not sure. I hope he gets somewhat. I hope he gets close to what he was with the Trailblazers that last
Yep.
season because he was killing it.
Mhm.
My stat: I have opponents' offensive rebounds per game. A stat that could really define this team because Dirk has not been a good rebounder,
I think the whole team last year wasn't too great at rebounding.
but they had Chandler. Chandler
Yeah.
was a good rebounder, and you
And
lost
losing
Chandler.
him.
Yeah, so now, I mean, I think they're going to get killed by second chances. So I think that three-man rotation of centers, D'Alembert, McGee, and Pachulia, they're going to have to pick their poison and find the one that can just rebound the best because you don't have a true rebounder on this team at this point.
And even with the loss of Al-Farouq Aminu, like he kind of was a rebounder for them as well.
Yeah,
Replacing Chandler Parsons or Darren Williams or whatever their new guys, none of them are renowned rebounders for their position at all.
exactly. So, I mean, that's going to be a very big thing to watch with this team. I think it might be one of the worst things that they're going to have to deal with. Besides the fact that the offensive production and everything else, just defending period, I think the glass is going to be a big deal. So, big picture for this team. This feels like a lost year for Dallas, honestly, and it's sad. You know, you don't want to see Dirk giving away money each and every year to play on a team that just isn't working for him. You know, he deserves to try and run for another championship, and I know that that's what management's trying to do. They keep going out there and trying to sign people, but they just keep swinging and missing. Matthews and Parsons are going to be out for a good chunk of time still. Dirk and Williams have been showing that they're declining rapidly. Centers are all journeymen that have never stuck where they've been.
They don't really have any young prospects outside of Justin Anderson.
They also have no depth. There's just nothing really
Yeah.
like looking on this team. The only thing, okay,
their only deep position is like undersized point guards.
yeah. But I mean, the only thing I feel like that could save them somewhat for the future would be, you know, Chandler Parson come back from that injury, and without Monta Ellis taking so many shots or Rondo needing the ball, maybe he like turns into like this. He puts it all together finally, which people have been predicting he could do. You know, he goes even if he went back to his Houston time, you know, just put on that stat line, people would be happy. But maybe he can make that leap. That's the only thing I see saving this team. Or Wes Matthews coming back and being just as good as he was in Portland. That's really those two things could make this team better, or at least, you know, help save them a little bit more for the upcoming seasons. But I guess we'll see about that. So what are you looking at for this season?
Yeah, I guess it's a lost season for them as well. But I kind of have hope for them. Rick Carlisle's a really good coach.
Right.
Even last year, at the beginning of the season, like I was mentioning before the Rondo trade, they were doing really well with basically Raymond Felton, Jameer Nelson, and Devin Harris running the point for them. They were playing really well. They were moving on the court really well. Even Brandon Wright was having basically a career year. And I think having Darren Williams instead of Rajon Rondo, with Williams being, I guess he might have a resurgent year this year, but there's really not much to look forward to with the Mavs this year. Like you were saying, having Dirk in the twilight of his career, spending his last 2 or 3 seasons on basically a lotto team is kind of sad. But I see them fighting for an 8 seed, but that's basically their ceiling.
Yeah, and that's if they put everything together. So yeah, I guess excitement factors. I have them at a 4. Dirk might put on a couple of games where he shows what made him famous. Matthews could come back just as good. Williams might, you know, start turning back the clock to his Utah Jazz days. Parsons might finally take that leap. But honestly, this team's not gonna win. Just with the lack of centers, like there's no interior defender, there's no rebounder. I can't see you winning games without those two things. And without wins, there's no fun in watching a team. So I have them at a 4.
Yeah, I had a pretty similar excitement score for them. I had them at a 5. I'm a little bit more optimistic about them than you. I just can't forget like how well they gelled last year at the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And with Darren Williams, like watching him with the Nets last year, he was an average point guard. He's definitely going to be better than whatever half attitude, half game Rondo gave them last year. But the team's a little bit older and they're a lot more banged up. But they'll still be exciting to watch and they'll be competitive, especially in the Western Conference.
Right, definitely. So what do you have for them as far as record predictions?
Around 40, 45 wins. Barely sniffing an 8 seed. Or either that or the lottery.
I have them going down to 35 wins. I have 35 wins. I think in the Western Conference they're going to get eaten alive by some of these teams. Even teams that don't predict to be in the playoffs, like the Minnesota Timberwolves, or I think they're going to be competing amongst the lower ones. I think the Sacramento Kings could even take them. You have DeMarcus Cousins out there, and he'll feast on Pachulia McGee combo. I don't know. I can't see them winning that many games as you gave them. Guess we'll see though. So social media.
I mean, Chandler Parsons is Chandler Parsons. So over the summer there was that whole DeAndre Jordan trying to go to the Mavericks, and then he got locked in his house. And then Chandler Parsons tweeted an emoji of an airplane, and that started a whole cascade of NBA player emojis. Steph Curry tweeted a ring or an NBA championship. LeBron James and Dwayne Wade tweeted banana boats. And I think the culmination of it all was Kobe Bryant posted 5 ring emojis. And that all started because of Chandler Parsons. So what do you remember from the whole DeAndre Jordan fiasco saga?
I just remember how ridiculous it was. I remember
we'll talk about it more in the Clippers episode, but it was...
I mean, it was devastating more for the Mavs. Yeah, it was devastating for the Mavs because he agreed to it, and I think this part should be covered for the Mavs section is he didn't even tell them. He didn't even tell Mark Cuban, like, oh, I can't do it, I'm going back to Los Angeles. That would have even been fine, and Mark Cuban even came out and said it, like, I called him multiple times, and he wouldn't pick up. His mom called Mark Cuban and told him he is signing with the Clippers now. How are you gonna, like, your mom? Come on. I mean, listen, Matt, like,
that whole situation was ridiculous. Let's be honest.
Yeah, the camping out and everything. I mean, yeah, we'll get into that later, but I'm talking just the Maverick side of it, because everything with that had to do with the Clippers, but that just blew my mind.
Yeah.
This is a grown man about to be paid millions and millions of dollars, and his mom has to take care of his business? I like DeAndre Jordan. I think he's a fun player, but that was not a good show for him. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see the first game. They play in Dallas.
Dallas Clippers, yeah. It's going to be a future, probably uneven rivalry.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more rivalry with the fans. The fans will just get involved with fights with the Clippers. It won't even be a basketball game. Alright, I guess that's it then. Do you have anything else to add for this?
Chandler Parsons. He's a good-looking fella, but that's basically it.
Yeah, flashing back on that, do you remember what was it, like 2-3 years ago now?
Yeah.
Chandler Parsons got into a car accident? I was just reading about this again, because nobody even made a big deal about this. He got into a car accident, and the lady ran a red light, hit him, and then asked him for an autograph.
She asked for his license and registration too, or just an autograph?
No, that's just the autograph.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, that was ridiculous. And that was during a string of games where he got fouled, like a flagrant foul from Corey Brewer when he threw him to the ground after a dunk or something. He had some kind of injury at the Spurs game. I mean, this one he was with the Rockets but he was driving to a game and this lady hit him and asked him for an autograph. I mean, hey,
It's perks of being good looking.
yeah, you gotta beat him away, apparently. If only I knew those troubles.
Same.
Alright, I guess that's it, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Hey, thanks for listening to Second Round Steals, our NBA podcast. Please be sure to check out the rest of our 2015-2016 NBA team previews, and stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of different podcasts, probably weekly, and we'll be there every step of the way covering all the drama, great games, great plays, and highlights of the NBA season. So please be sure to check us out on iTunes, on SoundCloud, and on YouTube for your podcast needs. And stay tuned for more content outside of podcasts, like videos and articles, and even probably live discussions. Thanks for listening.